House of Gucci. This film is not good. I want to start this review by saying Ridley Scott is a very controversial man right now. And for somebody who genuinely likes superhero film and the concepts that they can bring, I don't want to say anything about him. All I do want to say, though, well, that was a contradictory statement there, wasn't it? All I do want to say is he's 83. He's allowed to have his opinion, but remember, he is literally from a different time. How many 83-year-olds do you know that you take seriously or value their opinion when it comes to modern stuff and ideas? Let that sit with you. So Ridley Scott, he made a movie where a woman gets raped and men fight about it for a bit. In this same year, he also made this movie called House of Gucci, which follows the Gucci family, the high fashion people, and a very controversial time in their lives as Mauricio, gets murdered. Who murdered him? Well, Lady Gaga, apparently. So, I really didn't like this. I think compared to a lot of movies that came out this year, it could have been something special. Because what it's trying to do is interesting. There's never been like that Gucci film, and this family is weird and powerful. So I completely understand the desire to make a movie about these people, considering there's controversy behind them. On the same note, this falls into a trap that a lot of biopics do, and a lot of film based on real events fall into. It tries to chronicleize every single event in this family into 2.5 hours, which sucks because nothing really happens then. If everything happens, nothing happens. So it's Adam Driver playing Mauricio, it is Lady Gaga playing Patricia, and these two people just meet at a party, they fall in love, and from that they do a hostile takeover of the Gucci family name. They take the company, they out people who are doing bad stuff, and it's a cool idea. I think it works. The problem is, we start where they meet, we go where their relationship ends. Their entire relationship is presented in front of us in 2.5 hours. Years of being together is just put there. And it's a lot to take in, and when you're taking that all in, none of it really works, because suddenly there's nothing special about it. It's just events happening that lead to what we know is ultimately going to happen with Mauricio. Why can't I get the name right? It's just so much nonsense for no reason. And I compare it to something like Spencer, because I just watched Spencer, and just thinking about how that story of Princess Di focused on one moment in her life, a Christmas where she was with the royals and she was stressed out. Where this is just they meet, everything in between, he's dead. It's a lot. It's a lot, and it doesn't add anything it just doesn't feel interesting if we're seeing the whole life. And that's something that the biopic does. It's we have to get the entire life of this person sorted out into one film. That's impossible. And that's always something that hurts biopics or stories based on true events, when you try to do everything in order from the person's biggest thing to their end. It's stop. That doesn't help. What also doesn't help is that it's just a really boring script and a really boring movie. The acting is good. I think it's strong. The characters are there with interesting motivations, but it's so boring to see. It doesn't look, cinematically special. It's just, a little small tint on certain things, and we're just seeing famous actors talking to each other in a pretty on and off accent in Italian. It's just a weird choice they made. And it's just kind of drags. You really feel the weight of this thing being 2 hours and 38 minutes. And I have talked nonstop about how I don't like movies that need to be longer than they are. Shorten movies down to before they were all 2.5 hours. You feel the weight of this. And as it's going on, you're just we're only halfway through this. What else can they present to us? We already know the beats. So why did we have to have all this in the middle? And that is something people enjoy. It is not something I enjoy, and it's something that hurt my experience watching this film. So the acting, like I said, it's pretty good. Lady Gaga gives a good performance. I don't think she did phenomenal. She was solid. She did what she needed to do. What she was told to do was there. If she wins the Oscar over Kristen Stewart, you will see me flip out because it's not a special performance. Like, there's no moments where she really gives it. It's just there in front of you, and it works. And Adam Driver, I think, is the same, where it's like really well done, but it's on the opposite end of the spectrum where he's not outlandish. He's just quiet, and that reserved nature about him leads to the stuff working. Now, I'm not a fan of Jared Leto. I've never liked him in anything he's really done. I don't like him as a person or as an actor. And what really upsets me is something where I feel like we're seeing a lot more of this, is like these, authentic method actors putting on these, essentially fat suits and wigs and stuff and pretending to be that character. And instead of getting an actual character actor who could potentially fill that role better, we get a bigger name in makeup. And that upsets me because not only is it because I don't like Jared Leto, but it's taking work away from, differenter looking character actors for somebody who Hollywood would say is attractive. That sucks. But his character is a whiny, sniveling bitch, and that made me happy because Jared Leto is a whiny, sniveling bitch who I hate. So I think it worked fine with that. Of course, Al Pacino's in this, and he's doing his 70-year-old Al Pacino impression. I have no problem with that. I am not the biggest Al Pacino guy of late. I think the last movie I talked about with him was The Irishman, and I got a lot of hate for hating that. It's just Al Pacino. But Jeremy Irons freaking saves this thing because he is just quiet and reserved and angry and proud and just flamboyant in all the right ways, that he is just such a talented actor, and you feel that when he is on screen. It's great. He saves a lot of this just boring nonsense. I really enjoyed his performance. He's not in it a lot, but when he's there, you're like, cool, he's good. He makes it work. So the directing is not that special to me. It doesn't feel like it did anything creative, not even with the cinematography. The costume and the makeup designs, they're great. They look fantastic as authentically the 80s and 70s. It looks good. And the 90s, I guess, because that's when, the 90s. It looks good. Like, it's solid. But it's just so basic. And I think, Ridley Scott's toiting this to be like, oh, look at, like the Gucci family hates what we did here. Yeah, you didn't do anything, really. You literally just made a simple biopic like everybody else does in this genre. Like, it's really so formulaic that there is controversy, but these people are supposed to be, eccentric and rich and these powerful people. They're just all so easy and Italian. It's just like, yeah, we get it, that's it, but it's just a lot of nothing, essentially. And that kind of sucks because it could have been something special. And I wish it was, because there's a lot of interesting stuff you could do with these people. Now, I'm not going to say how to make this movie, but if it were me telling the story of the Gucci family using the characters and props that we see in this film, what I would have done is focus it on the ski resort where Mauricio, Adam Driver's character goes pretty much because his house is raided. I would focus it on there. I focus it on the tension between him seeing his family's empire crumble, the unstable relationship with his wife and how that's affecting him and his daughter, the way that this new person that he kind of has a love interest or connection with is now at this resort with his family. That is how I would focus this piece up. Just set it in that one location where you can go all these different places. His uncle is just getting out of jail. He's just coming home. You have all of these things that could potentially be happening. And that is just more tension-filled and great. It also tries to portray Patricia in a way that's a little more victimizing, when no, this is just a bad woman. She did a lot of bad stuff and pretty much tore her family apart. In the context of the movie, I don't like it. And I just think this was it was just so thrown at us to be something that could have been special and stylized and fun. Instead, it just became formulaic and easy, and these prestigious actors just in costumes pretending to be Italian, and you really felt that. You really felt that they were just pretending to be these characters as opposed to becoming these characters. So this film, I wish it did more, but it did not satisfy me. So House of Gucci, I am going to give a 3 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.